It's funny you ask that question. Yeah, when I got out of being an electrician and getting into the writing side of things, I never really expected my career to go to where the heights had gone to. That's for sure. But I was hoping just on. I don't even know what I was chasing. You know, I guess at the end of the day, I always wanted to be as successful and as rich and popular and stuff as I could be. So I guess in the back of the mind, it's always been the game plan. But I never really kind of held much hope on it all pulling off. So I was just always stoked with everything I achieved the whole way. And I think just having that big picture of what I wanted to achieve, being somewhat of what I am now, has kind of pushed me to keep on achieving. You know, once I did achieve at one level, made me just keep going for it again and again, and I'm still going for it. You know, still trying to do better myself, and yeah, it's a bit of a whirlwind the way it's all turned out, but it's becoming a pretty good story. Yeah, it's funny. Like nothing really has blown me away. You know, a lot of things I'm like, man, that was cool. I got to hang out with, you know, these people or whatever. Like I hung out with a lot of big name actors and stuff, and all that's all well and good. It's not like what I draw my success off, and it's not. It's funny, but I guess like when I sum it all up and I look at it, I did always want to be, you know, a really powerful figure in motor racing, and I always wanted to achieve, you know, on a huge level, and I dream of having helicopters and power boats and stuff like that. So I'm not going to lie and say I didn't want this or I didn't expect this. This was always the goal, and I'm just stoked that I pulled it off. Really, starting to pull it off. The Arc de Triomphe jump was totally just all a mind game. You know, it's not like I had to learn anything new on what I'd already learnt from the 20 years of riding my bike, but it pretty much just took everything that I had learnt to a whole new level. That was what it did do. It took the fear of even doing a double jump. You know, there's the same kind of fear as you get when you go to do a backflip or when you go to do anything you've never done before. You feel that fear and you deal with it and you get past it, and that's what sets us dirt bike riders. Well, that's what sets us action sports athletes apart from others, you know, because we take a pretty big risk when we decide that we want to do a new trick, and whether it's at the skate park or out on the waves or going down a snow hill, we're all faced with that same element of fear, and when you cross that boundary, it's a rewarding thing, and that was just what the Arc de Triomphe was for me, you know. But it was just on a huge scale. It was like the most terrifying jump I'd ever looked at or thought about doing, and then at the end of the day, I was like, all right, and I am going to do this jump. Like a lot of the times, I'll look at a triple and I'll trick myself and go, I ain't doing that triple. Knowing full well as soon as I get out there, the first thing I'm doing is going to start sizing up the triple. And with the building jump, it wasn't like that. I was like, all right, I got to do this thing. And I literally did throw up a few times. You know, it was the worst experience, but also the most rewarding. Like, it was so tough just to get out there every day. Like, all right, crack of dawn, let's jump off a building. It wasn't the most ideal lead up to Christmas of 2008 that I had, but at the end of the day, yeah, and it was just it was taking that, like I said, spoke about it, taking that fear and it's taking it to a whole new level, and I don't think that you know, the mental side of conquering that jump was huge for me. It taught me again more of what I learnt with the world record jump, and it's not so much that I'm going out and, you know, I'm going out and taking bigger risks with these jumps, but it's at the end of the day, it's stuff that's all possible on a bike, and it's just working out how to do it perfectly and how to get it right, and then just going for it, you know. And that's probably the part I like about it most, is that it does take all that I've learnt to pull these things off. You know, if I rush into it and think, oh yeah, I got it, I won't. Yeah, something will go wrong, and I won't have the right wheels, or I won't have the right engine, or the right suspension, or the ramp angles might be wrong, and all that. You know, if you're just a little bit off on a ramp calculation, you've fallen from 10 stories, you find yourself at the tranny rather than on the landing. It's all over pretty much, and yeah, So these jumps that I'm focusing on now, obviously I'm creating more risk for myself, but I'm really getting deep into them. It's not like I'm just rocking out on triple and going, oh, what gear you hitting in, boys? Third? All right. Third on the pipe. It's like, all right, no one's done this yet. I need to work it out. And if it's not third on the pipe and I do go long, it's probably all over. So it's working out how to do a jump without making any mistakes along the way. And there is a way to do it. It's cool, but it takes a lot. It takes a lot out of me. So for 2009, I'm like still dreaming big. That's for sure. Like I never really get to a point where I'm like, all right, yeah, I've done it. You know, I'm happy with where I'm at. Like I still just want to keep achieving. And in 27, I've probably still got another 40 years of doing that in all different kind of ways. So a lot of people say, when are you going to get off your bike? And I guess when I make enough money to, and I ain't nowhere near that, so I'll be around for a lot longer. But for 2009, I've got this jump in Europe coming up in London, and it's going to be over a landmark in London, which is pretty cool for me. A few years back, when I did the first world record jump with Crusty Demons, I thought to myself it'd be cool to go around the world and jump landmarks, and now I'm doing that. So it's pretty cool for me to think, all right, it's another level I've achieved on. So it's all building. It's all on the up, and I'm excited about my new split with my agency, and I've just signed on with a new agency out of Hollywood, and hopefully that potentially leads to big and better things. So a lot of plans in the pipeline, but like anything, I never really count my chickens until they're hatched, and we're only just starting to impregnate them. So when they start, after this jump in Europe pulls off, and then I get into the freestyle side of things this year, I think more will start to ramp up, and I'll start to see a clear vision of where I'm going. But since the jump in Vegas, I've had a lot of hype, and a lot of people approach me and doing different projects, and so there's plenty of stuff going on, and also returning back to Australia to do some work with some young kids, doing a program with Rebel called Under My Wing, where I'll take on around 10 amateur kids and under the age of 16 who are endeavouring into a life of freestyle or motocross, even just a daredevil. Like anyone who's looking for a career in motorcycles, I'll be hand selecting a bunch of kids and doing some work on teaching them how to get the right mindset and how to just do the whole picture. It's not just about being the quickest kid out on the track. It's not about just being the friendliest kid at the track. It's a whole range of things you need to kind of hit on the head right, and you have to keep doing them right to get to a similar place where I'm at. So I'm just trying to pass on some knowledge. So plenty coming up in '09, and excited for all of it.